Hello students, now here we are in a beautiful agriculture field. Here is a beautiful pond. We are going to collect some pond water in this glass jar. Come on students, come. Let's collect some water. Whoa, beautiful pond, amazing. Look here, lot of dragonflies are flying around. Beautiful grass over here. So, come on. Look, I have a glass of pond water, so crystal clear, isn't it? Now we will just look at this water under microscope. We will see what are the different microorganisms we'll find in this water. Let's go.
And then students, I took the glass of pond water to home. I just took a small drop of it and then I placed it on a clean slide and then started observing under the microscope. I started tweaking the adjustments. To my wonder, I saw the whole world of microorganisms under the microscope. Literally, there were several of microorganisms moving here and there so randomly. It was an amazing sight. You can look here, students, on the screen. Amazing, isn't it? They are all different colors and different shapes. They are so active. They are moving here and there randomly. So this is the microscopic world, and these organisms are the unicellular eukaryotic organisms.
Students, now today we are going to discuss about the kingdom Protista, which includes all these types of living organisms like the paramecium, amoeba, the euglena, diatoms, etc. So now let us see the general characters of kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista, it includes all unicellular eukaryotic organisms. It includes all the unicellular eukaryotic organisms. You can see here, these are all the unicellular organisms. This is a paramecium. It is having a well-defined nucleus. Amoeba is also having a well-defined nucleus. Even the euglena is also having a well-defined nucleus. So here well-defined nucleus is present in all these organisms, and the body is made up of a single cell. And there are other cell organelles like the mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex. This type of cell organelles are also present in these organisms. So these organisms are all unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Next, what are all other characters which you can see? Mostly they are aquatic. What is the meaning of aquatic? They live in water. Those organisms which are living in water are called as aquatic organisms. Okay. Some of the organisms, some are photosynthetic. That means they can prepare their own food by photosynthesis. Some are photosynthetic, whereas some are heterotrophs. Means they cannot prepare their own food, they depend upon other sources of food material. Next, coming to the reproduction. Reproduction is by asexual method and sexual method. Reproduction takes place by both asexual and sexual methods. So during sexual reproduction, there is involvement of cell fusion. It involves cell fusion. That means two cells are going to fuse with each other, and also there is formation of zygote, and also there is a formation of a cell called as zygote during sexual reproduction. Okay, so the boundaries of this kingdom Protista is not well defined, because some scientists consider some organisms belong to plant kingdom. Some scientists consider the same organism belongs to kingdom Protista. So the borders are not well defined in this particular kingdom called as kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista is also considered as a connecting link. It is also considered as connecting link between kingdom Monera, kingdom Monera, and other kingdoms, namely fungi, plantae, and animalia. So the kingdom Protista, if you see the Whitaker's classification, which is the first kingdom? First kingdom is kingdom Monera. After kingdom Monera comes kingdom Protista. After kingdom Protista is kingdom fungi. Next is kingdom plantae. Next is kingdom animalia. So the kingdom Protista, it acts as a connecting link. It is going to act as a connecting link between kingdom Monera, and also it connects the other kingdoms like fungi, plantae, and animalia. So that's why kingdom Protista is considered as a link between kingdom Monera and other kingdoms of like fungi, plantae, and animalia. Very important point, students. Come on, note this down. Going to rub, students. So now we are going to discuss the first group of kingdom Protista, that is chrysophytes. Chrysophytes. So put heading, the first group of kingdom Protista, chrysophytes. Chrysophytes, these are small microscopic unicellular organisms which are obviously eukaryotes. They are mostly found in the water. So all of them are found in the water. Some are found in the marine water and some are found in the fresh water. So they are, some are fresh water, some are marine organisms. That means some are found in the ocean. Okay. Next, how they procure their nutrients, how they obtain their food. They prepare their own food by photosynthesis. They are photosynthetic. Autotrophs. They can prepare their own food material by process called as photosynthesis. One more important character, locomotory cell organelles are absent. Locomotory cell organelles are absent. So when locomotory cell organelles are absent, they cannot move by themselves. Okay, these organisms simply float near the surface of the water, and whenever there is a kind of water currents, along with the water currents they are able to move, but by themselves they are not able to move from place to place. So such type of organisms are called as phytoplanktons. Such type of organisms are called as phytoplanktons. So these chrysophytes can be considered as phytoplanktons. What is the meaning of phytoplanktons? Microscopic photosynthetic organisms that live in water are called as phytoplanktons. So these chrysophytes, they are the primary producers in the aquatic ecosystem. So they are one of the primary producers. They are one of the primary producers in aquatic ecosystem. So that means they are going to prepare the food material, and they themselves become food for other organisms which are called as the primary consumers. Okay, so they are going to provide food to other group of organisms which are called as the primary consumers that live in the water. Okay, so these are some of the general characters of chrysophytes. Now let us discuss the different types of chrysophytes. Chrysophytes, they are of two types. There are two types of chrysophytes. Listen carefully. Desmids, and the second group of chrysophytes are diatoms. Desmids and diatoms. These desmids, they are also called as golden algae. They are also called as the golden algae. Example is desmidium. Diatoms, mostly they are marine, they are found in the ocean. Diatoms are called jewels of plant kingdom. Jewels of plant kingdom. Where they are present, they are found in the ocean. Most of them are found in the ocean. Example, Cyclotella. Example is Cyclotella. Note down these, students. Next we will discuss desmids and diatoms in detail. Students, keep heading under the chrysophytes, diatoms. Diatoms. What are these diatoms? These are microscopic photosynthetic organisms. They are found living in the ocean water. Suppose this is the ocean water. This is the upper surface of water. These diatoms are found living near the surface of water. They are microscopic photosynthetic organisms. These organisms, since they lack flagella, they cannot move by themselves. They are carried by ocean currents from place to place, and they form the chief producers of ocean ecosystem. That means they become food for other aquatic primary consumers like small fishes. Okay, so that is about diatoms. Now let us see the construction of the body of diatoms. The diatoms have symmetrical body. The diatoms have symmetrical body. Look here. This is one half of the diatom's body. One half of the diatom's body. Other half of the diatom body will be the mirror image of the first half. The rest of the body will be like a mirror image of the half of the body portion. So this is what we can see in the diatoms. There is a symmetry in the body. Okay, and the body is covered by a tough cell wall made up of silica. The body is covered by a tough cell wall material called as silica. Silica, you know students, it is indestructible material. So silica cell wall is present in these organisms which form a structure called frustule. A frustule which is made up of silica is indestructible. It cannot be decomposed. So inside this organism you can find the nucleus, well-defined nucleus, and other cell organelles like chloroplasts, mitochondria, etc. will be there. Okay, by using the chlorophyll pigment, these organisms can prepare their own food material. As you can see here, there is no flagella locomotory structure, so it cannot move. Okay, so here one more important character, siliceous frustule. Siliceous frustule has two halves, namely epitheca and hypotheca. Here you can see this entire structure is the siliceous frustule. It is divided into two parts. The upper portion of the frustule is called as epitheca, and the lower portion is called as hypotheca. So this epitheca and hypotheca are the two halves of the frustule. They fit in each other just like a soap box, like this. They fit in each other like a soap box. Can you see here? Just like a soap box fitting, they will fit in each other. So that is one important character. I can show like this. So they are going to fit like this, one in each other, just like a soap box. They fit in each other like a soap box. This is one of the important character of diatoms. Okay, so the pigments, what are the pigments present in these organisms? The pigments present in these organisms are chlorophyll A. Chlorophyll A. Along with chlorophyll A, there are some specialized pigments like diatoxanthin. So by using this photosynthetic pigments like chlorophyll A and diatoxanthin, these organisms can prepare their own food material. Now, how they reproduce? Asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction takes place by binary fission. And sexual reproduction. During sexual reproduction, there is involvement of cell fusion, and also specialized spores called as axospores are formed. Axospore formation takes place during sexual reproduction. This is one of the important characters in diatoms. Next, coming to the use of these diatoms, how these diatoms are commercially useful. Look here. So this is the ocean, this is the ocean. When these diatoms complete their lifespan, after the death of the diatoms, these diatoms will sink to the bottom of ocean. They will sink to the bottom of ocean and they accumulate on the ocean floor. They will accumulate in the ocean floor. After several millions of years of accumulation of these diatoms, okay, the diatoms inside this, the living organism dies out, but the frustule is non-decomposable. It cannot decompose since it is made up of silica. So indestructible silica cell walls won't disintegrate. So this silica cell walls, they form a sand-like material at the bottom of ocean after several millions of years. So this sand which has accumulated at the bottom of ocean, it is called diatomaceous earth. What it is called? Diatomaceous earth. So it is a very valuable product which can be retrieved from the ocean floor. Students, diatomaceous earth have several industrial applications. What is the use of diatomaceous earth? Diatomaceous earth used for polishing metals. And filtering syrups. Take down these, students, and filtering syrups. So this is all about diatoms. Copy down these, students. Students, now the second group of organisms which belong to kingdom Protista are dinoflagellates. Take down this. Dinoflagellates. Di means two, flagella means the whip-like locomotory cell organs. There are a pair of flagella in these organisms, that's why the name dinoflagellates. So you can see the typical structure of dinoflagellate. Its body will be like this. So now let us see the general characters of dinoflagellates. They are mostly marine. They are mostly marine organisms. That means most of them are found living in the ocean. The body is covered by stiff cellulose plates. You can see here the body of this organism is covered by several plate-like structures which are arranged like a tiles, okay, on the surface. So these structures are, they are called cellulose plates. So these cellulose plates, they act as a cell wall and provide rigidity and also shape to these organisms. Okay, so another important feature is that there are two grooves. You can see there is one groove which is running horizontally and another groove which is running longitudinally. So in this groove, horizontal groove, there is one flagella arranged like this. One flagella is arranged. One flagella means arranged. In another longitudinal groove, another flagellum is arranged. So there are two flagella, unequal flagella, which are arranged, one in the horizontal groove and another in the longitudinal groove. These two flagella are placed perpendicular to each other. Okay, this is one of the unique arrangement of flagella which you can see in these organisms. Okay, what is this cell organelle? Flagellum. And this is also flagellum. Two flagellum are arranged perpendicular to each other. So two flagella arranged perpendicular to each other. Perpendicular to each other. One is placed transversely, another is placed longitudinally in the grooves. So what are grooves, children? Grooves are the depressions which you can see between the cell plates. Here you can see there is a groove and another groove is there. Okay, so just like all other protistans, these organisms are also photosynthetic. They can prepare their own food material. They are mostly photosynthetic and they prepare their own food material. They occur in different types of colors in the ocean. They occur in different colors. What are the different colors? They occur in different colors such as red, blue, green, yellow, brown, etc. So they occur in these different shades of colors in the ocean. The colors depend upon the photosynthetic pigments and other pigments which are present in the body of these organisms. Okay, so now let us see the examples of dinoflagellates. Examples. First one is Gonialux. Gonialux. Gonialux is a dinoflagellate which is red colored dinoflagellate. It is red in color. This dinoflagellate, when it grows excessively in the water surface, it causes red tides in the ocean. It causes what? It causes red tides. It causes red tides in the ocean. Okay, the same dinoflagellate Gonialux, it also produces a toxin in the water. The name of the toxin is saxitoxin. Saxitoxin. So because of this saxitoxin, what happens? The death of aquatic fishes will take place in the ocean. Saxitoxin causes death of aquatic animals in the ocean. So this is one of the deleterious effect of Gonialux, one of the drawback of Gonialux in the ocean. Okay, so this Gonialux is notorious for causing the death of several aquatic animals in the ocean. It is one of the notorious organisms in the ocean. So this is about dinoflagellates. Note down this point, students. Note down this. So one more dinoflagellate we will discuss. One more. It is not included in NCERT, but it is worthy to know about this. Noctiluca. Noctile yucca. Noctile yucca is known for a phenomenon called as bioluminescence. That means its body will emit light, blue colored light. So whenever the tides in the ocean splash during night time, so at that time we can see blue light coming out from the waves, from the tides of the ocean. So this is caused because of this dinoflagellate called as noctile yucca. It is a bioluminescent dinoflagellate. Also note down the students. You can see the video of a dinoflagellate swimming in the water. You can see here. Very interesting, right? The third group of organisms which belong to kingdom Protista, euglenoids. Let us see the diagram of euglenoid, students. So this is how a euglenoid body will look like. Okay, so there is a kind of a depression which is called as gullet, through which the organism can take the food particles into its body. So there are one or two flagella in these organisms. If two flagella are present, one flagellum is short and another flagellum is long, like this. The flagellum is a locomotory cell organelle which helps in locomotion, movement in water. So these organisms are found mostly living in the stagnant fresh waters like ponds and lakes. Okay, and its body is covered by a proteinaceous flexible covering called as pellicle. So what is the covering that is present on the body of these organisms? Pellicle is a very important character. It is a flexible proteinaceous covering. Okay, pellicle is present that allows the free bending movement of this organism. Okay, and coming to the nucleus, there is a single nucleus, well defined nucleus, and there are several chloroplasts which can carry out photosynthesis. These are all chloroplasts, green chloroplasts. We can see this green colored chloroplast through its body because the pellicle is transparent. We can see all the cell organelles present inside the body. Okay, so here will be cytoplasm. This is cytoplasm. And what is the cell organelle? What is this? This is chloroplast, which carries out photosynthesis. So now there is a very different type of behavior which can see in these organisms. When sunlight is available, they behave as autotrophs. They will prepare their own food by using this chloroplast. Then what happens when sunlight is absent? When sunlight is absent, they will start predatorous behavior. That means they will hunt other microscopic organisms and eat them. So they behave as heterotrophs when light is absent. So such a type of a peculiar behavior which you can see in these organisms, it is called as mixotrophic nutrition. The nutrition is called mixotrophic nutrition. Okay, so this is about euglenoids. Next, there are two contractile vacuoles which look like stars. One is anterior and another contractile vacuole is present towards posterior end. So what does this contractile vacuoles do? The contractile vacuoles, they will expel excess amount of water which is entering into the body. They show contractile movements like this. Continuously they show on contractile movements. That's why these cell organelles are called as contractile vacuoles. Contractile vacuole. How many are there? They are a pair of contractile vacuoles. Next, very, very important structure in euglenoids. Towards the gullet, towards the anterior end, there is a red colored spot which is called as eye spot. which is called as eye spot. What is its color? Its color is in red in color. By using this eye spot, the euglenoids can detect the light. So they can move towards the source of light and carry out photosynthesis. It is a photosensory structure. What is that? Photosensory structure. It is also called as photosensitive stigma. Photosensitive stigma. Another name of eye spot. Okay. Next, coming to the movement in euglenoids. There are some obliquely arranged protein fibrils on the body surface. Obliquely arranged protein fibrils are present on the body surface of euglenoids. So what are these obliquely arranged protein fibrils called? They are called myonemes. They are called as myonemes. What is the use of these myonemes? These myonemes help euglenoids to show movements called as creeping movements. Creeping movements are kind of caterpillar-like movements where they can stretch their body and again they can make their body normal. They can stretch their body and again they can contract their body, just like an earthworm. This type of movements can be brought by using these special structures called as myonemes, which are obliquely placed protein fibrils. Okay, so now let us write the points of euglenoids. They are found in stagnant freshwater bodies like ponds and lakes. One or two flagella present. Body is covered by what, students? Body covered by flexible protein covering. Protein covering called pellicle. Next, for photosynthesis, the cell organelles, chloroplasts are present, which carries out photosynthesis. As I told you that when light is available, they carry out autotrophic photosynthetic nutrition. When light is absent, they can behave as heterotrophic organisms by feeding on other sources of feed material. So they show mixotrophic nutrition. Okay, next, what about these myonemes? Myonemes help in creeping movements. They help in creeping movements. The creeping movements are also called metaboly. Another name of creeping movement is metaboly. Okay, example of euglenoids is euglena. Next, one more important point. These euglenoids, they store the reserve food material in the form of paramylum bodies. The reserve food is paramylum bodies. Okay, now you can see the video of euglena here. Look here, how green they are. Inside you can see green granules. They are chloroplasts. They are moving here and there in the water. Do you see? Very interesting, right? Now we are going to discuss another important group of organisms, slime molds. What are these slime molds? These are very peculiar in kingdom Protista. Their body is, first of all, is not microscopic, it is macroscopic. We can see with our eyes. These organisms are found on the forest floor. they keep spreading on the surface of forest floor just by producing branches. Okay, so they look slimy to touch, and also they have bright orange and bright yellow colors. So I can also show you the video of slime molds. You can see here, students, this is the slime mold. See how the slime molds are growing on the forest floor. So they grow on the surface of decomposing waste material. They engulf the decomposing waste and they digest that waste material and get the energy out of it. Okay, this is how the slime molds behave. The forest floor, they help in decomposition of waste material in the forest and help in formation of humus. Okay, now let us cover the characters of slime molds. First of all, let's draw the diagram. Slime mold. The slime mold is having naked protoplasmic body. It doesn't have any rigid cell wall. Cell wall is absent. The body is naked protoplasmic body covered by plasma membrane. Yes, this is the diagram of a slime mold. You can see the body is lacking the cell wall is absent, and it is completely filled with protoplasm. In the protoplasm, you can see many nuclei are floating around here and there. So you don't see multicellular organization in this organism. Multinucleated condition can be seen. Many nuclei are present. Okay, the organism, it produces several branches that spreads in different direction. Okay, these branches, they search for the decomposing waste material. Whenever the moment they come into contact with any decomposing waste on the forest floor, they are going to engulf that waste material into their body and they are going to digest it internally. So that is how these slime molds grow. Okay, they are otherwise called as Protista fungi. They are called as Protista fungi. Why they are called Protista fungi? Because they behave as fungi, saprophytic fungi, which decompose the waste, plant waste. That's why they are called Protista fungi. Body made up of naked protoplasm without cell wall. There is no cell wall in these organisms. They are saprophytic. That means they depend on the decomposing waste material. So where do they grow? They are found growing in forest floor. So how they get their food? They will engulf the decomposing waste which is present on the forest floor. Okay, when conditions are favorable, when the conditions are suitable, these slime molds, they gather together and they start growing in different directions on the surface of forest floor, and they form structures which can spread for several feet. Those structures, they are called as plasmodium. So here I am writing, during suitable conditions, they form aggregations called, what are they called, students? They are called as plasmodium. They spread for several feet. On forest floor. So they cover the surface of forest floor for several feet. Then what happens during unfavorable conditions? When unfavorable conditions comes, these slime molds, they start producing fruiting bodies. They start producing fruiting bodies, which are the spherical structures. These fruiting bodies later they produce spores inside them. You can see here, this is a fruiting body. Here you can see one more fruiting body. So what are these structures? These are called as fruiting bodies. When they are produced during unfavorable conditions. So inside the fruiting bodies, spores are formed. What are formed? Spores. Spores are microscopic in nature. Spores. So what is the characteristics of these spores? The spores which are produced inside this fruiting body, the spore has a true cell wall. The spore is having true cell wall. This is one important character of the spores produced by slime molds. Okay, so being light in weight and microscopic, when the fruiting body it ruptures, several spores will be released outside. These spores will be carried by air currents to faraway places. When they land on suitable decomposing waste material, again they grow into new slime molds. Okay, examples of slime molds. Examples: Physarum, Fuligo. These are the examples of slime molds. So write one more point here. In unfavorable conditions, they produce fruiting bodies. Which bodies? Fruiting bodies, which contain what spores? Which contain spores with true cell wall. With true cell wall. Understood, students? This is about slime molds. Copy down these. Students, now we are going to discuss the next group of protists, that is protozoans. Protozoans. So the term protozoa was coined by a scientist called Goldfuss. Unlike other organisms which belong to kingdom Protista, these organisms also have well-defined nucleus and cell organelles. But the difference is that these organisms, most of them, they doesn't have cell wall. Cell wall is absent. And they behave as heterotrophs. They either behave as predators, they chase other organisms and eat them, or some organisms are free living in the water. So that's why these protozoans, they are considered as close relatives of animal kingdom. They are considered as close relatives of animal kingdom. Why they are called close relatives of animal kingdom? Students, come on, tell me. Since they lack the cell wall, okay, lack of cell wall is a character of animal kingdom. In animals, cell wall is absent. And one more character, they show heterotrophic nutrition. Most of them are predators that will catch other microorganisms and eat them. And some of them also cause diseases. They behave as parasites. So that's why they are considered as close relatives of animal kingdom. Cell wall is absent. Cell wall is absent mostly. They are heterotrophs. So under the protozoans, there are different categories. First, we are going to discuss the first category, that is amoeboid protozoans. Amoeboid protozoans. So where these amoeboid protozoans are found living? Amoeboid protozoans are found living in aquatic habitat. They are found living in the water. Some are found living in the fresh water, some are found living in the marine water, some are found living in the moist soil. Okay, they are found in fresh or marine water or moist soil. Moist soil. How is their nutrition? The nutrition is heterotrophic. They show heterotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition. Now let us see the structure of their body. The amoeboid protozoans, they have irregular body shape. Since they lack cell wall is absent in these organisms. Because of absence of cell wall, they have irregular body shape. You can see here. This is the body shape. Okay, so they produce certain extensions from their body surface. These extensions are called as pseudopodia. What they are called as? Pseudo means false, podia means foot. Pseudopodia. So what is the use of this pseudopodia? By using this pseudopodia, they can move from place to place. They can show movement and locomotion. And by using two pseudopodia, they can even engulf the food particles and food materials present in their surroundings. So imagine this is the food. The pseudopodia will be produced like this. The pseudopodia will cover the food material and they fuse, and afterwards the entire food enters into the body. The food gets digested inside the vacuole called as food vacuole. So where does the food get digested? The food get digested inside a cell organelle called as food vacuole. So the digestion is internal. The digestion process takes place inside the body of organism. The body of organism is transparent. You can see different contents of the cells from outside as the body is transparent. Okay, you can also see a well-defined nucleus. A well-defined nucleus is present, and this is cytoplasm. This is cytoplasm. Okay, you can see the video of amoeba. You can see how it is moving. It moves very slowly by producing this extensions from the body surface called as pseudopodia. Look, the body is transparent. This is how the amoeba moves in the water and in the moist soil. So now how the amoeba is able to reproduce? Amoeba can reproduce by asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction takes place by binary fission. It takes place by binary fission and multiple fission. Two methods. Multiple fission. Okay, the marine amoeba, the amoeba which live in the ocean, the marine forms have silica cell wall. Marine forms have which cell wall? Silica cell wall is present exceptionally only in the marine amoebas, the amoebas which grow in the salt water of the ocean. And there is a parasitic amoeba that causes disease in human beings. The parasitic amoeba is entamoeba. Entamoeba. So what is that? Entamoeba. So this is a parasite in the intestine of the human being. This entamoeba, it causes a disease. It causes a disease called amoebiasis. Amoebiasis. Okay. So it spreads mainly due to houseflies. When housefly sits on the food and we eat the food, then we get this amoebiasis. Mainly because of contaminated food, this disease occurs. Okay. So example amoeba proteus. Amoeba proteus. Example of amoeboid protozoans. Here there is no flagella, there is no cilia. Instead there is a locomotory cell organelle called as pseudopodia. Many pseudopodia can be produced by this organism. Take down this, students. Now under the protozoans, the second type of protozoans are flagellated protozoans. Flagellated protozoans. As the name says that these protozoans have the locomotor cell organelle called as your flagellum, by using which it can move in the water. So some of the organisms are free living, some are free living, some live freely in the water, whereas some are parasites. Some are parasites. Okay, example, here we are going to discuss a parasitic flagellated protozoan which is called trypanosoma. Trypanosoma. So look at the diagram of trypanosoma, students. This is a microscopic organism. The body is elongated and it has tapering ends on both sides. Tapering sharp ends are present on both sides of the organism. Inside the organism there is cytoplasm and there is a well-defined nucleus. Nucleus is present. Okay, you know what is the name of our foundation program? Nucleus Neet Foundation. Okay, here you can see nucleus, a very important cell organelle that controls all the activities in the cell. That's why I have named the program as Nucleus Neet Foundation program. Okay, so now look here. From the posterior side, a single flagellum arises and it travels throughout the length of the body and it comes out like this. A single flagellum arises the anterior end and it runs throughout the body. At the posterior end, the flagellum comes out of the body. So there is a single flagellum as a locomotory cell organelle. This causes locomotion in this organism. Okay, this organism, it causes a disease in human beings. What is the name of the disease? The disease is called sleeping sickness. What is the name of disease? Sleeping sickness. Disease in human being. So the human beings, they lose the control over their sleep cycle. Okay, so they are not able to sleep accordingly during night time. The night time they will be awake and during daytime they will be sleeping. So this is a kind of symptom which is caused due to disturbance in the nervous system, working of nervous system. It is called as sleeping sickness. Mainly you can see the disease in Africa. So what is the name of this organism? Trypanosoma. So this housefly is troubling me. Let me teach lesson to this housefly. Come on. Where are you? भाग गया. फिर आओगे? चलो आ जाओ. Understood, students? Next, the third type of protozoans, ciliated protozoans. Ciliated protozoans. Ciliated protozoans. These are microscopic unicellular organisms which lack cell wall. These organisms are exclusively found in the water, fresh water. So if you look at the body structure, how is their body? Look here. Their body is having a typical shape of a slipper. That's why they are also called as slipper animalcules. And the entire body is covered by flexible covering called as pellicle, proteinaceous covering called as pellicle. And from the body surface arises several hair-like structures which are called as cilia. What are these structures? They are called as cilia. They help the organism in locomotion and movement. Where does these organisms grow? They are found growing in stagnant fresh water like ponds and lakes. These organisms does not have chloroplasts, so they are heterotrophic organisms. They hunt other microscopic organisms present in the water and eat them. Their body is transparent. You can see different cell organelles present inside their body. So these organisms, because of their hair-like structures called as cilia. What are these structures? They are called as cilia. So these cilia are arranged in rows. Because of the coordinated movements of the cilia, they can move very fast in the water here and there. You can see the video here, the video of paramecium. Very interesting, right? See how fast they are moving in the water. Their body is transparent and you can also see the internal contents. Now look here. Inside the body of these ciliated protozoans, you can see cytoplasm, and very important character is presence of two nuclei. Two nuclei are present. One nucleus is in large size. It is called macronucleus, and the second nucleus, which is small in size, it is called as micronucleus. Two nuclei are present. One is macro, micro. Okay. There are a pair of contractile vacuoles. And what is the function of contractile vacuoles, children? Come on, tell. They take part in osmoregulation. That means they expel excess amount of water present inside the cell. They look like stars. They are contractile in nature. They can contract. So that's why they are called as contractile vacuoles. How many are there? A pair of contractile vacuoles are present. Contractile vacuole. Okay, so now there is a depression on the body surface which is called as oral groove. Which is called as oral groove. This is called oral groove. It acts like a mouth. It acts like a mouth. By using this oral groove, the paramecium, it can take the food particles into the body. The funnel-like structure which you can see, the funnel-like cavity which is present in the body, it is called as gullet. It is called gullet. The gullet, it slowly tapers and it opens into a vacuole called as food vacuole. Food vacuole. Food vacuole. Okay, this is the structure of ciliated protozoans. So, let us write the characters. Locomotory organelles are cilia. Locomotory organelles are cilia. Next character, what is the next character? Two nuclei present. Two nuclei present. One is called macronucleus and another is called as micronucleus. Let me shade this nuclei. This is macronucleus, this is micronucleus. Okay, so there is a funnel-like cavity inside its body which is called as gullet. Through this gullet, the paramecium can take the food particles. Now look, what is the mechanism which is involved in collecting the food particles? This organism, basically it is living in water. Imagine this is water. In the water, here there is a food particle. Imagine this is food particle. The water is loaded with food particles. Okay, this cilia, they show coordinated movements. They show coordinated movements. The cilia which are arranged in rows, they show coordinated movements like this, like this. So because of these coordinated movements, the food particles are driven into this cavity called as oral groove. The water laden with food particles are driven, they are steered into this cavity called as gullet. Once the food particles enter into the gullet, they are directed into this vacuole called food vacuole. Inside the food vacuole, the food gets slowly digested. So here the digestion is internal. Okay, so what type of nutrition is seen in these organisms? They show heterotrophic nutrition. They show heterotrophic nutrition. And how does they reproduce? They reproduce by two methods, asexual and also sexual method. Asexual reproduction is by binary fission. And there is a primitive sexual reproduction. A primitive Sexual reproduction is also observed in this organism. It is called as conjugation. Conjugation. What is the example of the ciliated protozoan? Paramecium. Paramecium. So the diagram itself represents paramecium. Come on students, copy down this diagram. Students, the last group of protozoans we are going to discuss, that is sporozoans. Sporozoans. What are these sporozoans? Sporozoans are parasites. They are parasitic organisms. They are parasitic organisms. They cause diseases in human beings. In their life cycle, there is an infectious stage called as sporozoid stage. The life cycle shows infectious stage, infectious sporozoid stage. So because of this sporozoid stage, they are called as sporozoans. Example is the notorious parasite Plasmodium vivax. What is this Plasmodium vivax? It is a malarial parasite. This parasite, it causes malaria disease in human beings. Okay, so how does this parasite spread? It spreads due to the bite of female Anopheles mosquito. So the vector is female Anopheles mosquito. It spreads the disease called as malaria disease, which is caused by Plasmodium vivax. So when the female Anopheles mosquito, when it bites a patient, malaria patient, it will take these infectious stages from the blood. Plasmodium parasites will be absorbed into its body, and after a while, when the same mosquito, when it bites another healthy person, it will release these malarial parasites, Plasmodiums, into the healthy person. So thereby the disease will spread from one person to another person. So how we can control this disease? Come on students, you have any ideas? We can control this malaria disease by interrupting the life cycle of Anopheles mosquitoes, that is removing the water around our surroundings. During rainy season, if any stagnant water is there, if we just remove that stagnant water, simply these houseflies, these mosquitoes, they cannot breed, they cannot reproduce. So thereby we can control this malaria disease. Come on, note down the students. So by this we have completed the kingdom Protista. Next class we are going to start kingdom fungi. So my dear students, if you want to score the best mark in the NEET exam, keep following my lessons on the YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit the like button, and that will encourage me to make more videos like this. And we will meet in the next class. Until then, be happy, be safe, keep reading. Bye bye.